What is up, F1 Clashers? Today we're going to give you a guide on your mid-season in F1 Clash. It's a frequently asked question about we move up series, should I stay where I am? I'm getting bored. So before we start, this is going to be more or less like a player preference guide. I'm here just to give you a few tips to make your decision a little bit easier. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like. And if you're a new viewer, please subscribe. It would support the channel a lot. So what have we based this mid-game guide on? Two important things are your CC points for season 24 and your player medals, either your P1 champion or contender yet or not. Other things that we've based this is on player GP scoring, your player preference, player activity if you are a high or low dual grinder for your sprints. So we're taking a lot of factors into consideration, and we're going to go ahead and give you this guide. Right, we're going to play this on different player scenarios. So like that, I'm tackling more than one of you, and I'm also going to give you my strategy at the end of the video. So it would be good for you to watch all the way to the end, because if you miss out on a few tips, then it's going to make your decision a little bit harder. Right, so first scenario, a player that hasn't achieved P1 Contender or Champions yet. I'm one of these players, but we will give you my strategy later on. So you're a player that hasn't achieved P1 Contender or Champions, but you're a player that has maxed out Series 9 car and driver assets, which you're using for your GP. So in other words, your contender loadout is fully maxed out. If you feel that you're not competitive enough to grab P1 in champion, then it's time to try and grab P1 in contender to lock down more CC points for season 24. But if you feel that you can grab P1 in champion soon and you're scoring 370 points plus more or less, then Series 10 is not a bad place to be in. We have gotten some feedback about Series 10 from a few players, but we'll tell you that later on in the video. Right, if you're moving up to Series 10, you will be able to upgrade Vector and other Series 10 assets, which not only will improve your current car setup, but will make life easier for you in the late game grind. Please take into consideration that if you have maxed out your contender loadout, that means you can come back at any forgiven time to grab that P1 in contender. It won't hurt you as much because contender is currently locked in Series 9 assets. So another scenario that we have, if you have not grabbed P1 champions and contender, is if you're a player that doesn't have any maxed out Series 9 assets. I do suggest that you stay in Series 9 until you have upgraded your contender loadout and then move on. But again, this comes up to your player preference if you're bored in Series 9 and want to enjoy the game a little bit more moving up. But if you do move up, things will become a little bit more difficult for you. So upgrading your Series 9 assets for a late game contender P1 try, it is better for you to stay currently maybe for a month max, I would say. Right, so I want to give you a few tips before we carry on other factors on moving up into Series 9. For the things I've just mentioned, a player scoring low points in champions compared to their opponents in the group, do try and grab that P1 in contender for a higher CC point scoring. I believe contender P1 scores 75% in that particular subject, because P2 or P3 in champions, I believe it's either 60 or 50%. Unless they change that, that's more or less where it is. Then you got to think about moving up and to start unlocking new assets and grading it, because it will become very, very hard later on in the game, because for CC points, you need to unlock every asset and upgrade them as much as you can. It's not only for your CC points, but because they added the milestones, you might want to grab Michael Schumacher as a legendary driver. We do not know if in the new season, new legendary drivers will come out. But for the meantime, try and grab him. He is pretty much an OP driver at the moment, him and Prost. So Another scenario that we're going to point out, if you are a player that has achieved already P1 in Champions, then you are in a very, very good spot. Because achieving P1s in Champion, you have achieved 50% of the work done to maximizing your CC points. The other thing that is very hard to do is to upgrade all of your assets. That is another difficult, hard grind for yourself to do. So please give yourself good time in order for yourself to grab and unlock these assets and upgrade them, because you don't want to see yourself later on in the game having to grind the living hell out of it, and then it becomes a problem in your real life situations, because grinding and upgrading all of your assets, it takes a long time. And moving up to Series 12 will make it easier for you, because on your sprint races, you will be gaining 20 epics per first position in each race. And if you're not moving up, then sprint races it's not even worth it anymore, because you're only getting cards for your asset trading, not to upgrade any of your cards. So that is more or less a guide in a different player scenario. Now I would like to give you a guide on your GP scoring. If you're moving up onto Series 9 or Series 10, what points you need, or 11 and 12, and also for Contender. So let's start off with, if you're able to grab P1 in Champions, you need to be scoring a minimum of 370 points in Series 9 and 10. Fastest lap is still not required, as players are missing out on points either in the qualifying or opening round. But if you are deciding to go to Series 11 or 12, you must be scoring at least 375 points to 360 points. Players there are maxed out and the competition is harder. You might be required to get even fastest lap in this scenario, so please take it into consideration. You need a goddamn good loadout. For Contender, when you're wanting to compete for P1 Contender at this current stage of the game, you need to have your Series 9 car maxed out, because not only will you be having to compete for maximum points, you also will be competing for the fastest lap. That is your GP scoring guide. I hope you found that helpful. Now we're gonna go and move into my strategy. My strategy is, I believe I can grab P1 in Series 10, because I have gathered some information back from other players, and I found 3 groups that are maybe easier for me to grab P1 there. So we'll be moving up to Series 10 after this exhibition, so that will be in December, the beginning of December. I am scoring high enough points, 365 plus points, and it all depends if I am screwing up my GPs or if other players screw up the GPs. I'm very close to grabbing a P1 in Contender, but like I mentioned before, it will also, moving up to Series 10, is going to improve my car loadout by unlocking Vector and other epic drivers. And if you're PF1 members, please go over to the description. The link is there. Join the Discord. There is tons of players that will help you out and give you more information on what they're doing. Please hit that like and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed the video and it's helpful for you. And I will make up a follow-up video and a review on how I'm doing in Series 10. So you don't want to miss that out, and hit that notification button if you need. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you out on the track. Hopefully you'll beat me. Hopefully not.